Welcome back. So I have one bench in and the second bench in. And in the process of rebuilding this boiler, the shape changed a little bit, so I don't have quite the snug fit there that I had originally. I don't have quite the snug fit here that I had originally, so I'm going to put some filler in there to take care of that gap. Overall, though, it's okay. The shape of the table, or what would have been a table here, is a little bit trapezoidal now. This piece is no longer parallel to this piece, so there's a little bit of a taper, about 5/8 of an inch overall through the whole length. But we're not anticipating in making this a table at all. We're intending to set this up as the bed and leave it set up as the bed, so I'm not terribly worried about that. What I'm going to do at the moment is to cut covers for these bench access storage holes. These were not here when we got the trailer, so I have to make these new. So I have some 5/8 inch plywood that was used for the floor. We're going to use that for these covers here. So we'll go cut that now, get that put in place, and then we can start on this cabinetry here. Okay, let's go give that a test fit. All right, that fits nicely, though I did have to make a minor adjustment by rounding off the corners. But that fits in just nice and snug. I'm very happy with the result of that. Let's put a lick of paint on it, same as the floor. And I'll do the other side now. I'll come back when that's done. All right, both benches and covers are now in place. So it is onto the cabinet. Okay, here is a very distorted view of the cabinet that looking to build. So I'm going to start by making these two end pieces of the cabinet, and these are going to be cut so that they sit on top of the little raised floor section here. And this piece has a cutout to accommodate the wheel well. The counter will sit on top of that. And then on top of the counter, and the counter has to accommodate a little bit of it. This curve is exaggerated. The Boler doesn't curve quite that much. This is going to be a little piece of a flat stock that goes from the top of the counter up to the base of this cabinet, and it's going to be inset. It doesn't show that here very well, but there'll be about a 2-inch lip between the outside edge of this and the edge of the counter, which makes a little bit of a shelf on this side by the bed. The bed's over here. And in this one little corner of this piece is going to be a channel, probably be about 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick, to accommodate a receptacle. So we're going to put a couple plugs in here to cater for a kettle, an induction cooktop, and maybe a toaster that could be plugged in. Might do the same thing on this side, put in a little channel that can accommodate some power requirements, USB chargers, and so on. So this panel that goes from here to here, it's 11 inches at the top. It's going to be a little bit wider at the bottom. And this replaces what originally came in the Boler was some metal studs that were kind of spiral flanged. Like I said, those are long gone, so this is going to replace that. Provide some structural support to the roof coming up through here. So that's the plan for the cabinet. And I'm going to take some of the wood that I had cut out previously. Here's an example of one of these boards. I'm going to cut these apart and glue them together again so that I get two panels that are 36 inches by 20 inches. That's the rough dimensions of these two pieces, 36 by 20. The countertop is okay. It'll just need to be trimmed a little bit, and then we'll have to make up these pieces separately. Start with this. Okay, I'm going to glue this panel together, and then with the other boards that we cut off that I have back here, I'll treat them separately. I'm going to cut them off about 36 inches and then do some trimming on them and piece together a panel. But first I want to glue these together and get them drying. Set up. I'm going to run some errands, and then we'll come back and do the other panel. So here's our first panel now out of the clamps, full size. So I'm going to do a little bit of treatment on this with the belt sander, just to even it up a little bit where the glue joints were. They're not bad, but I'm just going to touch them up a little bit. and then we'll start working on cutting that out. But before I get to that, I'm going to get these pieces glued into a panel like that one. And to do that, it's going to be a little bit shorter. The piece only needs to be 36 inches tall, so even this panel is going to be cut down quite a bit. So I'll make a cut here on these two pieces, then this remnant and this remnant will be placed. So this gets glued together. These two pieces will go down the sides, or down this side, and possibly putting in these two smaller pieces just to give me the 20 inches of width that I need. With these two pieces are just over 12 inches. This is just a little over 6, so I wind up with about 18.5 inches when these three widths are combined. So I need to make up the difference with these bits here. So that's what we're up to now. Make some cuts and I'll put on a montage as we start assembling this panel or getting it ready to glue. Alrighty. Now, while this is gluing up or setting, we'll go take some measurements, make a template to cater for the curve of the back of the cabinet in the trainer itself. So I'm going to get some cardboard, a marker, and a tool, and we'll go get a template. Alright, so here we are. The bottom of this piece of cardboard is 17 inches off the floor that I'm standing on. That accounts for about 6 inches of how the center of the floor is sunk in. We call that the dance floor sunk in. Then we have a wheel well, so the combination of that is 17 inches, which means I want to come up 19 inches to get a 36-inch top of the counter. Well, actually, the counter's going to sit on top of that, but the top of the cabinet is 36 inches off the floor. So I've marked a line here. I'll mark there where that's going to be. Now I just want to get a curve, and you can see that you have quite a gap here at the bottom, so the wall actually kind of, as it comes up, comes in toward me. So I'm just going to try and scribe a line. Do that again. That gives me a good approximation of the curve that needs to be on the back of the cabinet. Working in an RV, it's almost impossible to use a level because, you know, depending on how the trailer or RV is positioned, of course you're going to have slope one way or another. The only thing I can be sure of is that the floor is to be square to the face of the cabinet. So I put my square down here on the floor at the edge where I want that cabinet to be, the face of the cabinet, and using this straight edge and by lining it up with the square, I can now take a measurement here at the top, come across, and I see that I am at 18 inches, which is just what I was looking for. So that's good. I know the measurement from here to here is 18 inches, from here to here is 36, and then I can start worrying about all these various cutouts. The top of the wheel well here is parallel to the floor, so when I have that measurement, which I know is 17 inches, I know that I can come out here 17, I can measure that, go down vertically, because this face of the wheel well is parallel, or is perpendicular to the floor, so I can make all of these little cuts with reasonable surety. It's this one that's tricky, and then making this distance is the calculation. So I think we have everything that we need. Let's go mark this out on our panel. Okay, we'll start with little arts and crafts with Dean. We'll cut out our template. Probably better material to use than that, but so good. Okay, and there's the top of our cabinet. That should be 19 inches. So we're going to go square across here. That'll be the bottom edge, and this is the top edge. So I'm going to start by saying what's the 36 inches that I want. I also have wonky edge here that came about when we were using the work table router. Cut a little bit out here, so I'd like to run this through the saw just to get rid of that, to get a clean edge. But that is where top of our template will be. This now represents the bottom, actually the wheel well. That part of the cabinet sitting on. So what I need to do at this point is get the dimension of from the edge of the wall to the front of the wheel well, and then I can cut out that portion, this portion, and this portion. And for this cut, I'm just going to eyeball it because there's simply a 1-inch strip here on the bottom that's important. All right, I went and double checked the measurement, and I found this strip was going to be a little narrow. So I've added 3/4 of an inch to all of these, to the depth of the piece. If I need to nibble more away, I can nibble more away, but it's hard to put it all back. So. See how it fits. All right, here's our panel loosely in place. And there are a couple mismeasurements to address, but that's okay. I have more material than I need, so I'm good. First, I'm a little high. I'm by about 3/4 of an inch too tall, so I need to take 3/4 of an inch off here and off here, and it seems that I got this measurement right because I'm 3/4 of an inch off the floor. So I'll take a little bit off there and a little bit off there. And then secondly, I'm a little far out on this side by probably about 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 again. So I can probably take that 3/4 of an inch off here and that 3/4 of an inch off here. So you recall the last cut, I added that just to be safe. So I'm happy that I did. So we'll make a couple little adjustments. Here, 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 and here. Here's our panel. Got a really nice fit along that curved edge. Comes along here quite nicely. There's a little bit of a bow to the top of this wheel arch. And I had to make a little bit of a kind of a curve to follow this. This is not a perfectly vertical surface. Just over time it bends a little bit, I suppose. So cut a little bit of a curve there. Got a nice fit across the bottom there, nice fit down there, a nice fit on the floor. So I'm very happy with that piece. I'm gonna keep that one. Now we could probably unclamp our second panel and see about gluing that, see how that is holding up. Before I unglue though, actually just occurred to me, what I should be doing is running this whole piece through the belt sander and get it all smoothed up. So I'll do that first. All right, I've gone over the entire panel here with the belt sander to even up all the joints. Then I've gone over it with some 120 paper. Well, I've filled in the holes, first of all the nail holes and gaps and stuff that I had, and then used some 120 on it. So this panel is good for primer, but I'm just gonna go place it back in the trailer, see how it looks. So for our second piece, I did some measuring and did some rough cutting of the panel. So the cutout where it sits over the upper floor, that little leg over there goes down to the dance floor. And I had made up a template which got me reasonably close, not perfect, but reasonably close to where we want to be. And then I fit this piece into the trailer. And now I'm able to get the exact contour that I want here. So I'm going to cut that out with the jigsaw. That will bring this leg in just a little bit closer to the riser on the dance floor. It should be enough. And the last cut, if this fits well, which I'm expecting it to, the last cut will be just taking a piece off the front of that. So I'll go off after the jigsaw now. I'll cut this off and then take you back in the trailer to show you how that fits. All right, and there's that panel. And that is fitting really nicely. I like the way that went in. Got our little leg there. So the last piece that I need to cut here is I'm going to trim that leg there to be 1.5 inches wide. So that's a single straight cut right up the whole length of the leg. That'll have it the same as this side, and then we can start, I can perhaps lay on a countertop, see what that's going to look like. So here's the cabinet in place, roughly. So our two end panels and the beam temporarily across, this is going to be cut off flush with that. But I thought it would be neat to put the top on, just to kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. This is not cut to size yet, obviously. So that's going to go on there. Now it's going to be cut off flush on this end here with this side. It's going to overhang the front by 1 inch, and it's going to overhang this side by 1 inch. And there is 1/8 of an inch difference between this width and this width at the front as the trailer curves slightly along that outer edge. So it's a little wider there than it is at this end. So I'm going to go back into the shop, rip off a cut on this side, then rip a cut down there, and then straighten out these two ends, get them square and to the right length. So we'll be back in a minute. And there's the kitchen counter now in place. So the bottom portion is going to be painted. We're going to do a bit of a bleach stain on the top, kind of a whitewash, then a finish on the top of the counter itself. The same treatment will go on the table. And of course, it's probably going to be another partition in the middle here, but we're going to wait until we get a fridge, and we'll put the fridge in there, figure out how that's going to fit. Then we can determine what we want to do on this side. But I'm going to call that a video for today. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.